Hey everyone, welcome to LifeTree. Here's what's happening. This Saturday, September 18th, Robbinsville Township will be having its annual Community Day Festival. This will be a time with games and prizes, good food, music all day long, and even a rock climbing wall. Then at night, they'll be having their fireworks display. Now, for LifeTree, we won't be having any services next weekend, but instead, we encourage all of you to join us at the Community Day Festival. We'll have a booth there. Come stop by the booth, get a free t-shirt, and just join us in celebrating the Robbinsville community. Then, the Saturday after, we will be gathering in person for our monthly Saturday night LifeTree service. If you can't join us on Saturday, we will be streaming the service live on Sunday for our Sundays at Home service. And that's happening for September. As always, if you need anything at all, you can just send us an email to connect@wearelifetree.com. And if you would like to continue giving, we do have a giving option that you can do right online. If you go to wearelifetree.com/give, you'll see that we have two ways that you can give. You can either mail a check to our P.O. box, or you can use the online gift feature and set up either a bank account or a credit card. You can even set this up as recurring payments so you don't even have to worry about it on a month-to-month basis. All right, that's it for this week's announcements. Thanks for joining us. We're so glad you're here.
Hello, LifeTree family. It's Pastor Dan here, and so good to be back here at LifeTree. Really wish we were in person today. We were supposed to be in person, just connecting, and you know the way that the past year and a half has gone, so we flex with it and we roll with it, and looking forward to being together with everybody really soon. So today I'm just going to have to share it with you via the video, and you know, it's the best we got, but I'm going to trust that in His wisdom, God's got some purpose in this video that's going to be a blessing to you and make it worthwhile as you listen, as you receive this. So I'm just praying right now that what you're about to hear will be worthwhile. It's going to make a difference. It's going to build your faith. It's going to help you get closer to God. As much as I wish we could do this in person, I'm going to trust God to make up the difference and make this worthwhile for you today. So what I'm going to share with you is a piece of the story of what I did this summer as the pastor. If you don't know, I took, just recently coming back from a 3-month summer sabbatical, took the months of June, July, and August off from ministry, from full-time ministry here at LifeTree, and took a season of rest and renewal and just time to let God do some things in me, and get away. So really what I'm going to tell you is just more of a story. I'm not really going to preach so much today as share just a piece of the story of what that time was like for me, and hopefully it speaks to you. At the end of May, which doesn't seem that long ago, but also in some ways seems like a lifetime ago, we were at the end of our time before the sabbatical, and personally, I can see it now, I was burned out. Just exhausted, toasted, done, finished, whatever you want to say. I was just spent. The gas tank was past empty. I was Kramer on the highway, just seeing how far we could go. It was over. I had nothing left. And so grateful for the kindness and generosity and care of this church to give our family an opportunity to go away and just to kind of unplug and let God minister to us and heal and restore us through rest and renewal. And that's exactly what it was. Long story short, it really was a great time. But at the end there in May, I wasn't sure what was coming, and Noah was heading into the summertime, didn't know what to expect, and so I really prayed about how do you start? Like what do you do first when you're going to take this time off? What do you do right off the bat? And God just prompted in my heart to go away for a couple of days, and so I took 4 days by myself and went to a retreat prayer center up in North Jersey. It's kind of a remote location in the middle of the woods, and just took 4 days by myself to really just stop, to stop doing, to stop running, to stop going, to kind of just pause and just shut it down. And I knew it was going to be hard for me to shut it down because I've been doing this church for 11 years and in ministry for more than 20 years and really haven't taken more than a week's vacation here or there. And so this was going to be new. And so it was a hard stop, cold turkey. So I didn't bring a computer. I didn't bring any books. I had the phone in case I needed something, but essentially me and a room and a desk and a chair and a bed and my journal for 4 days of silence. No music. I'm just saying, just really a hard stop. And let me tell you, it was hard. It was really hard. If you can imagine going, and then just nothing. And it took me about a good 45 minutes to realize that I was in trouble. Because I don't know what your pace is, but I'm a doer. I like to get stuff done, and just sitting there in the stillness, in the quiet. I mean, it was a quiet little room, outside some windows into the trees. Let me tell you, right outside the window, like a deer came and sat and spent most of the time there. And I just look at the deer and hang out and just check it out. 4 days. 4 days of just silence. And it was a discipline. Just so used to going, it was really hard to shut down. But as I did, the longer I went, the more my being began to kind of catch up and slow down. And it wasn't just that I was sitting there doing nothing, but I was sort of detoxing, letting all of the hurry, the worry, the busyness just sort of empty. And I wrote a lot in a journal. Got my journal here. I wrote a lot in that journal. And I just took time to let God. I wasn't trying to say anything. I was just trying to shut up. And we have a hard time being quiet. And I just want to share with you something I feel like God spoke to me during that time. 3 words. 3 words that God spoke to me in that season. And I'm a Jersey guy. I kind of shorten everything, so I'm a minimalist, and so I can even shorten them to 2 words. But the 3 words that I felt like God saying to me as I was there in that quiet room by myself, sometimes bored out of my mind, other times just trying to be reflective, felt like God say these 3 words: I am here. That was it. I'm here. That's the 2 words. I'm here. Over and over again. I'm here. Dan, I'm here. And like when you hear stuff, or not like it was like the audible voice of God, but just like in my spirit, I felt like God saying that. And the first time you're like, all right, yeah, I'm sure God's everywhere. I mean, it makes sense, God's everywhere. But over it just continued to be reaffirmed. And it was like he was trying to send me a message. Hey, Dan, I'm here. I've always been here. I've never not been here. I think sometimes in our busyness, we miss and forget that God is always with us. Like always with us. And in my busyness, I can confess, in my busyness, for the church, for the things of God, I was too busy to notice that God was always there. In Exodus 3, God reveals his name to Moses, and he says, Moses says, who should I say that you are when I talk to the people? And God says, I am. That's his name. It's really awesome. I love it. In the Hebrew, I am translates Hayah. God's name, I am. He is. He's always been. He always will be. His name is Hayah. And so I just think that's pretty cool that God named himself Hayah. That's so anytime you hear that, just think, oh, that's God. But as I began to just go through these days, I began to recognize that God is everywhere, but in all sorts of moments, not just in the quiet, also in the noise, in fun stuff. This summer, it really set the stage for the rest of the week, the rest of the summer for our family. We went to Colorado, and I heard God speak it as I was standing in the mountains of Colorado on a hike, just hey, I'm here. I'm here. And I heard God say it again when our family got a chance to go to the rainforest in Costa Rica. I mean, this was a great summer. And we were in Costa Rica and hearing, monkeys and birds. And God say, again, Dan, I'm here. And guess what? He even spoke it in Robbinsville, in my backyard when I was mowing the lawn, because that still had to get done this summer. And God just say, in the middle of the summer, as I'm sweating mowing the lawn, Dan, I'm here. Wherever I went, God was there. When our family was watching a movie on a couch just in our basement, God saying, hey, I'm here. And here's the thing, God wasn't just in the good moments. Our flight back from Costa Rica was a nightmare. It was a 17-hour ordeal. We were sitting on a plane that had been delayed, diverted. We were in the wrong city with a bunch of cranky people, some of whom were inebriated, who wanted to get home. It was almost midnight. We had left at 10 in the morning, and we were trying to get home back to Jersey. And the pilots are like, we don't know what's going on. We're just waiting. And it was, my kids are exhausted. They can't sleep. We're uncomfortable. And we're just sitting there in this tense environment. And I just, again, heard God say, Dan, I'm here too. I'm right here. I'm right here. When we saw water flooding in our basement a couple weeks ago, and at 3 in the morning, I'm shop vacuuming our newly refinished floors, frustrated, annoyed, and God saying, hey, I'm here. See, I just began to be aware of his presence like I hadn't before, and it was nothing magic. It wasn't anything about me. It was simply the decision to do two things: to look for and to listen for him. I slowed down enough to look for and listen for God. And I want to briefly share one thing that changed because of that awareness. It comes from Psalm 16:11. It's the New American Standard. I love this translation. It says this: in his presence is fullness of joy. Fullness of joy. This year we've talked about joy, and I don't know, I'm searching, wondering, God, where's the joy in this year? It's been a year of delays and frustrations and disappointments and discouragements, and I thought we were past this, and now we're back again, and it's just it's constant. God, where's the joy? God reminding me, Dan, I'm here, and wherever I am, in my presence, there is fullness of joy. See, joy is not about the absence of pain. It comes from the unshakable confidence that God is here, that he's always been there, he always will be there. See, we walked into a wilderness last year, and it still feels like we're kind of walking through that. But God is right here with us, and we get to experience his presence, and that's our testimony as believers. That's what sets us apart. We're going through the same stuff everybody else is, but we are aware in our spirit, in our being, that God is with us, and that makes us joyful. That brings us joy, because when God is there, you can't help but be joyful. And it's not happy and delirious, but it's this sense of he's got this. It's peace and it's joy that is unshakable, because he's got us and he's right here. And I can take joy in that. We can ignore God. We can go about our day and just shut him off and be busy and busy yourself. And that's our choice. We get to make that decision. We're going to talk about joy for the next few weeks as a church, and you're going to hear me talk about that. I feel like God's got some things that he wants to continue to say to us over the coming weeks. So we're going to be talking about that when we gather again in a couple of weeks for our Saturday night Life Tree. And I just want to start with just this one. God is here. God is here. So I'm going to tell you to do two things. One, look for him when things are going really well. Even when things are going great, just look for God, because he's there. And two, when you're about to lose your mind, when you think you got nothing left, listen for him. Because in that moment, God will speak to you and remind you he's with you. He's with you. Like right now, wherever you are listening to this, wherever you are, I don't know if you're at home, if you're in your car, if you're at work, wherever it is that you are listening to this message right now. I just want to challenge you right now, pause and listen. God's saying it. He's saying, I'm here. I'm here. I'm going to close with a poem. I'm not much of a poet, but maybe it'll help you see God in your day somehow. So don't make fun of me. If you love the poem, you can tell me. If you hate it, don't tell me, because I'll be insecure about it. No, I'm just going to read it, and said nothing fancy. I don't claim to be anything. There's some of you who write great poetry, and if you write great poetry, listen, share it with all of us. I'd love to hear it. But here we go. Here's the poem that maybe will help you put this all together, make a little more sense to you. God is everywhere. He's in the dirt and he's in the air. He's in the breeze blowing through the trees. He's in the choir of a crackling fire. He's in the rush of the unseen stream. He's in the warmth of a winter's sunbeam. He's in the song of avian symphonies. He's in the roar of ocean melodies. He's in the smile of a stranger on the street. He's in the hands of a husband rubbing his wife's feet. He's in the eye of an artist recognizing beauty. He's in the courage of a soldier reporting for duty. He's in the face of a mother beholding her child. He's in the longing of the child to be free and live wild. He's in the depths of your despair. He's in the room when life's not fair. He's in the shout when the victory's won. He's in the cry when the chapters are done. He's on the mountain and he's in the valley. He's there for the final tally. He's in the heat and he's in the snow. He's in the fast and he's in the slow. He's in the dark and he's in the light. He's in the middle of the fight. He's behind you and before you. He's beside you and he's for you. He's in your work and he's in your play. He's in the car every single day. He's in the smell of a homemade meal. He's in the way you make a guest feel. He's in the comfort of your favorite jeans. He's in the song that brings you back to your teens. He's in the dog who wants a pet on the belly. He's in the peanut butter going just right with your jelly. He's in the hug from your grandpa. He's in the kiss from your grandma. He's in the people all around you, and he's most certainly in you too. God is everywhere. He's right here and he's over there. There isn't anywhere that he's not. It's time we realize what we've got. God is here. Love you, church. God bless you. And praying that as you go throughout your week, you hear the voice of God saying to you over and over and over again that he's there. Would you pray with me as we close? Heavenly Father, I thank you for the gift of your presence. Lord, you've never left us. There's never been a moment you haven't been there. So God, I ask that you forgive us for those times that we are just not paying attention, when we have just not listened for your presence, and how much we've missed the peace, the joy, the hope, the assurance that comes with knowing that we're not alone. So God, as we walk through just the life and the season that we find ourselves in today, I ask that your voice be loud. Lord, would you just, Lord, in the middle of what we're going through, would we hear you? Each and every person who's listening to this, would they hear you right now, in this moment, saying that I'm here, that you're there, that you're with them? Because it changes things. Your presence changes things. And Lord, I invite you, Lord. It says in your word tells us that in your presence is fullness of joy. Lord, let that be our testimony this week. That we are joyful despite what's going on because you are with us. Let that be our story. I thank you. You are so good, and we love you. In your wonderful name we pray. Amen, church. Love you. God bless you. Can't wait to see you again soon.